Single dad loses his dream job for helping a stranger. Then learns she's the CEO's daughter. The rain came down like the sky itself had broken open, and Marcus Reed stood at the edge of everything he had built, his career, his reputation, his carefully constructed life, and watched it wash away in a single afternoon. He didn't know it yet, but the moment he stopped to help a rain-soaked stranger on Meridian Avenue would become the most important decision of his life. He just had to survive losing everything first. Marcus was 34 years old, a single father to his 7-year-old daughter Lily, and he had spent the last 3 years clawing his way up to senior project manager at Crestline Technologies, one of the most competitive firms in the city. Every late night, every skipped lunch, every school play he arrived to breathless and 10 minutes late, it had all been for this. The promotion that was finally, officially his. His boss, Director Harlan Webb, had personally called him that morning to confirm it. The corner office. The salary that would finally let him stop counting groceries. He had called Lily's babysitter with a shaking voice and promised his daughter they were going out for celebration pancakes that evening, with extra syrup and those little banana slices she loved. He was walking back from the client presentation, the one he had just absolutely crushed, when he saw her. She was sitting on the wet curb at the corner of Meridian and Fifth, her leather jacket soaked through, her blonde hair plastered against her face. A black car had pulled partially onto the sidewalk nearby, its hazard lights blinking uselessly in the downpour. She was holding her ankle, and even from across the street Marcus could see she was in real pain. People walked past her with their umbrellas tilted forward, faces down, hurrying through the rain as though she were simply part of the weather. Marcus slowed. He checked his watch. He had exactly 22 minutes to get back to the office for the internal wrap-up meeting with Harlan and the executive team, the meeting where he was supposed to shake hands, sign paperwork, and officially step into his new role. 22 minutes. He looked at the woman on the curb again. Then he crossed the street. If you believe in kindness and second chances, hit that like button right now, drop a comment below, share this story with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Kindness Corner, because stories like this one are exactly why this channel exists. He crouched beside her and asked if she was alright, and she told him she had twisted her ankle stepping out of the car, that her driver had gone to find help and hadn't come back, that she had been sitting there for nearly 15 minutes while the world walked past. Her name, she said quietly, was Elena. Marcus didn't ask her last name. He just helped her up, let her lean her weight against his shoulder, and walked her the half-block to the covered entrance of a pharmacy where it was dry. He sat with her on the bench inside while the pharmacist helped wrap her ankle, made sure she had water, called her a proper car, and waited until it arrived. He stayed because she seemed shaken in a way that went beyond the physical pain, something fragile and stunned in her eyes, as if she wasn't used to the world being indifferent to her. He didn't leave until she was safely in the car and the door had closed behind her. She looked back at him through the rain-streaked window with an expression he couldn't quite read. He arrived at the office 47 minutes late. Harlan Webb did not receive him warmly. The executive team had waited, grown impatient, and drawn their own conclusions. In the corporate world, conclusions harden fast. By the time Marcus sat down across from Harlan's desk, the warmth of the morning phone call had entirely evaporated. Harlan spoke in the careful, distant language of liability and optics. He said that the promotion required someone who demonstrated unconditional commitment, that tardiness on a day of this magnitude sent a message Marcus perhaps hadn't intended to send, but a message nonetheless. Marcus explained what had happened. He explained it clearly, sincerely, without exaggeration. Harlan listened with his hands folded on the desk and then told him the position had been offered to someone else. Not fired, Harlan was careful to clarify. Just passed over. Reassigned back to his previous role. Marcus drove home in silence, the rain still falling, and sat in the parking lot of his apartment building for a long time before going inside to face his daughter's excitement about celebration pancakes. He made the pancakes anyway. He put in the banana slices. He watched Lily eat with the pure, uncomplicated joy of a 7-year-old, and he kept his voice steady all through dinner, all through bath time, all through the bedtime story. It was only after her light was out that he sat at the kitchen table with his face in his hands and let himself feel the full weight of what had happened. The weeks that followed were quietly brutal. Marcus showed up to work every day, did his job without complaint, said nothing to his colleagues about what had been taken from him. He paid his bills, packed Lily's lunches, drove her to school, and tried not to count the months until his lease renewed at a higher rate. He had told no one about Elena. It felt strange to explain that he had sacrificed a life-changing opportunity for a stranger he would never see again, and that he held no anger about it. He had made the choice freely. He would make it again. That was simply who he was, and no promotion could have changed that, and losing one couldn't either. It was on an unremarkable Tuesday morning, 6 weeks later, that his desk phone rang and the voice on the other end asked if he was Marcus Reed, the man who had helped a woman on Meridian Avenue in the rain on the 14th. He said yes. There was a brief pause, and then he was asked if he could come to the 42nd floor. He had never been to the 42nd floor. It was where the executive suites were. It was where the CEO worked. He straightened his tie in the elevator reflection. The woman who stood up from behind the glass desk when he entered the office was Elena. Her ankle was fine. Her composure was absolute. And the name on the placard beside the door, the name he had never thought to ask on the curb in the rain, read Elena Crestline. Founder. Chief Executive Officer. The woman whose last name was literally on the building where Marcus had worked for 3 years. She looked at him with that same expression from the rain-streaked car window, and now he understood what it was. It was recognition. It was the face of someone who had been invisible for one terrifying moment and had been seen, genuinely seen, by a stranger who asked for nothing in return. She told him she had spent 6 weeks making quiet inquiries. She had learned what his tardiness that day had cost him. She had reviewed every project he had ever led, every performance evaluation, every piece of work with his name on it. And then she told him she was creating a new position, not reassigning him, not restoring what was taken, but building something new entirely, something that required a person of specific character, the kind of character that could not be taught or incentivized or manufactured. She told him that what he had done on Meridian Avenue was not a mistake. It was a resume. Marcus stood very still for a moment. Then he thought of Lily, and the pancakes, and the parking lot in the rain, and every quiet morning he had driven to work carrying a loss he never complained about. If this story moved something in your heart, please like this video, leave a comment below telling us what kindness means to you, and share this with someone who needs to be reminded that doing the right thing is never truly a loss, it's always finding its way back to you. Subscribe to *Kindness Corner and never miss a story that reminds you what humanity looks like at its best. Before this story ends, drop a comment with just the word pancakes if you believe that the kindest moments of our lives always find their way back to us. Let's see how many of us believe it. Some choices look like sacrifice in the moment and only reveal themselves as destiny from the right distance. Marcus Reed lost his dream job on a rainy Tuesday afternoon on Meridian Avenue. He just didn't know yet that losing it was the first step toward something that would dwarf every dream he had previously dared to have. Lily got her celebration pancakes. They just came 6 weeks late, with extra syrup, and this time Marcus was crying a little when he made them, not from grief, but from the overwhelming, humbling grace of a world that occasionally, impossibly, gets it exactly right.